Hey everybody, I'm sure you have already heard the term indigo child before, but I would like to share some thoughts with you on the topic, as I am pretty sure there are so many of you who are indigo children or even crystal children. I mean, if you are into spirituality and such topics and you are sitting here watching this, then yeah, there's a high chance you're an indigo yourself. Not to mention that this topic is becoming more and more relevant as we are approaching the great global shift of collective consciousness. As we are entering the new era of humanity, more and more indigos are getting activated, awakening, and hopefully many of you can get some answers about yourselves in this video. Indigo children are highly evolved souls with a specific life mission, life purpose. They incarnated on this earth to help, support, teach, heal, and guide humanity to bring that much needed change in our world so we humans collectively can step on the path of spiritual evolution. The first indigos were born during the 50s, although in very low numbers, just a few of them, and it's no surprise they were needed back then, as spirituality wasn't in the forefront at all, only in the form of religious dogmas. Plus, in those days, stone-cold materialism was very typical, all about work, money, power, and the physical aspects of life. Of course, I'm talking about Western societies. Then this first group of indigos grew to be the leaders of the hippie movement by the time they became young adults by the end of the 60s. And this movement was all about love, peace, unity, acceptance, equality, and freedom. The biggest wave of indigos were born between the mid-80s and the mid-90s, and for a good reason, which I will discuss a bit later on. But ever since, these special souls have been continuously incarnating on Earth. They got their name after the third eye chakra, which glows in indigo color. This chakra connects us to our higher self, the cosmos. We can perceive things through this which we cannot see with our regular eyes. Intuitions, enlightenment, wisdom, and subtle energies. The third eye of indigos are highly active and functions on a higher level. Their auras also have the indigo color in the base of their auras. The color indigo can be detected in every human's auras too when they feel balanced, when they meditate or do any other spiritual practice. But the color of the aura can change based on your current state of mind, emotions, influences. So an aura photo can show different colors also for indigos depending on their current emotional or mental state. But if you feel relaxed, balanced, stress-free, being all natural, being yourself, then if you're an indigo, then the aura photo will show indigo color too. I'm also an indigo, born in the mid-80s. Several years ago, I also had an aura photo made when I lived in Hungary. Here you can see the photo. This was taken about 6 years ago or so. Then I wasn't on my spiritual path yet, which you can see in the picture as well, how my 7 energy centers, my chakras are broken up and scattered, and my energy level was close to exhaustion. But since then, of course, I have been walking my spiritual path of light, and I have been working on my chakras, balancing them, strengthening them. But back then I hadn't found my true identity yet. But by now I have found it, luckily. You can also see in the middle of the right side the frequency level of your energy. This tells a lot too. Normally the range of male frequency is between 4 and 600,000. Female frequency would be between 6 and 800,000, because women are more spiritual to begin with. Spirituality itself is more feminine energy and principle, more on the side of emotions. And over 800,000 is an extreme high level of frequency that indicates a teacher, a healer. In my case, it's around 950,000, close to a million, which is also a sign of being an indigo. But there are people with even higher range of frequency, 1.5 million even. They can actually see and perceive things and capable of things which I'm not at all. You can specify the basic color of your aura even without an aura photo. I made a video on this method. I put the link below in the video description if you guys would like to check it out. So let's see what indigos are really like. They are very intuitive already in their early years of childhood. They have their own unique, developed and independent belief system and rules. They are not willing to join the herd, to melt into the crowd, to follow trends, empty ideas. They won't bow their heads. They won't let anything forced onto them that's conflicting their own spirituality and the universal laws. You cannot shove things down their throats, such as religious dogmas created by humans, false ideas and worldviews. Their spiritual identity is so strong. A lot of indigos are born into very religious or atheist families, which cannot be integrated into their mentality, their being. Therefore, they are often in conflict with their family members or the outside world because they are strongly driven by cosmic consciousness ever since they were born. They don't accept any type of religions, belief systems, or social rules from others. They like to search for the truth and answers themselves, the universal truth. In most adults these days, the need for finding the truth has been faded, calcified. Therefore, the frequency of their consciousness has been also decreasing in recent centuries. Indigos can intuitively sense these. They refuse religious radicalism, dogmas, and they are drawn to higher, universal teachings by intuition. They are real rebels, freedom fighters, very feisty and passionate. They have been blessed with great wisdom since birth. They are usually more mature than their age or than their peers. They are typically those to who you would say, "Oh, what an old soul you are." They have a very high level of frequency. They think in progressive, innovative, and a unique way. They are hypersensitive, extremely receptive, with outstanding communication and self-expression skills. If that reminds you of Aquarius or the planet Uranus, it's no coincidence, as indigos are under heavy Aquarian influence. They embody the energy of Uranus, elevated ideas, groundbreaking, revolutionary, freedom, equality, and brotherhood. They cannot be brainwashed that easily. They question everything, including authority and power. They are not willing to follow any outdated, pointless rules. They would rather rise up against these. Crystal children have a rather white, silver-looking aura. They are more peaceful, calmer, more quiet. They are not as fierce as indigos. They are extremely pure, but aside from that, they have similar abilities to indigos, just they are influenced by Neptunian energy. But back to indigos, they can read people very well. They can easily see through lies, propaganda. So thanks to this, they are an amazing judge of character. They have highly developed antennas as for intuitions. It is also very typical that they recognize each other, or they are drawn or attracted to each other. You can spot an indigo by looking at their eyes. There is something about their eyes, something that's out of this world. And as I said, they feel drawn to each other. They feel sympathy at first sight. So for example, if you are looking at me now, and if you feel like you know me, that I'm a person who would understand you while others can't, you feel like you can identify with me even like this without knowing each other, then there's a high chance that you're an indigo too. It's a common issue with indigos that they have no idea why they feel the way they do and where this all comes from. Being an indigo has its great advantages, of course, but only after they have made their decision and they step on the path designated for them. Soon as they step on their spiritual path, unfold their unusual, non-conventional ideas and energies. But till that point, being an indigo could be more like a burden, frustration, confusion, or pressure. They need to deconstruct their ego and become conscious. Since they are so in sync with their spirituality, the cosmic laws, and they can see beyond the limitations of the physical world, and since they are not drawn to, on the contrary, they are repulsed by the narrow narrowed down worldview of the material world, its spiritless aspects, the conventional, outdated, and material social structures, rules, and ways of thinking. They don't even want to take part in these, as they were born to change these aspects of life on earth. They incarnated to fight against these things. That is why in childhood they are often diagnosed as hyperactive or with ADHD, concentration deficiency, only because of the mere fact that the outdated and pointless, useless education system and activities cannot maintain their attention at all. Unfortunately, oftentimes these kids get stuffed with medication by doctors or their parents, slowly killing off their subtle and evolved spiritual sense organs. It's a sad fact that today's education system, the world of grown-ups, and social rules are designed to suppress and even eliminate these special abilities. So it's the parents' job to protect their indigo children from such negative and harmful influence. In school, they are often problematic students as they don't take certain things said to them as facts, and many times they question their teachers or even get into arguments with them. And they naturally go against authority, teachers, principals, parents, or bosses, because it's hard to manipulate and control them due to their highly developed sense for justice. There are highly evolved indigo children who can see the aura, even karmic connections concerning a person, or other dimensions and entities. Some of them even can communicate with them. And that is when the parents or the teachers say, "Oh, it's just your imagination, don't be silly, such things don't exist." And they hear it so much that eventually they can lose this ability of theirs. For example, if your child says something like, "When I was not living with you, when I had a different mom and dad," and so on and so forth, then we can be sure they are not hallucinating, but they indeed remember their past lives. We should take good care, nurture, and protect these fragile, subtle abilities. By the time they grow up, they often feel while reading books, articles, or watching videos about spirituality, karma, reincarnation, and other spiritual doctrines that they already know this. This is nothing new, or that, yes, of course, it's perfectly logical, like it's the most evident and natural thing in the world, which is, by the way, and without reading about any of this before. So back to timing, well, as I said, there is a good reason why so many of them were born between the mid-80s and mid-90s. It is because by now, 2022, they are all between 30 and 40 years old, adults at their peak, full of life, potential, experience, and ready to act and lay down the foundation for the future. By now, they have grown enough to have the knowledge, wisdom, experience, and strength. No coincidence, as right now the whole humanity is going through a global shift, a change of era, as we are approaching the age of Aquarius. Basically, this is the thing they were born for. They have been preparing or training all their lives until now for this. In the next coming years, the global shift of consciousness is taking place, and that is the purpose they incarnated on this planet for. These indigos, including me, are the people who will help humanity through this transformation, helping, healing, supporting, teaching others, guiding humanity. They will be the ones standing up to fight or lead the fight against unfair, unjust, oppressive, exploiting, and greedy global systems of power. Many of them are awakening just now. Like a switch has been turned on the past 3 years since 2020, and now suddenly all their repressed affinities, abilities, openness to spirituality have emerged out of nowhere and are intensely present in their lives right now. I'm pretty sure a lot of you can recognize yourselves hearing all this. Well, you are not alone. On the contrary, there are more and more of us awakening, and we have a huge job to take care of. There is no place for fear, doubts, or disbelief. You have to listen to that inner voice. Follow what your soul is telling you and step on the path that have been calling you and act. The time is now. It has begun. That is why we were born. Learn, educate yourselves, evolve, practice so you can help, teach, and heal and guide others, fulfilling your true life purpose, bringing and helping along the change, laying down the foundation of the new world. The life of indigos is not easy. They have to cleanse their astral body so they can incarnate their higher self in order to reach enlightenment. The purpose of indigos is to raise the consciousness and frequency of humanity, to prepare people for the upcoming great global shift, as such energies will be present on Earth during the process, which the materialistic human is not ready for. This is our mission. If you feel this calling, if you hear that voice within, if you recognize yourself from all this I have talked about, then the time has come. You have been preparing for all your life. The purpose you were born for, even if you had no idea about it until now. I hope you found this video useful. Thank you for watching. Take care, guys. Okay.